What's going on, my recovery family? Welcome to the Your Recovery Mentor channel. What a beautiful day it is today. I'm out in Arizona. It's 100 degrees. I'm sweating my balls off. But hey, still alive, still kicking. Still got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids. Not much to complain about. You get a second, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Click that little notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And if you would, please share the video. We're trying to expand this channel as much as possible because soon we're going to be bringing on guest speakers, we're going to be doing giveaways, and I want to get as many people as possible involved in that. Plus, I'd like to grow this community so everyone feels like they can be a part of something. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, one of my biggest issues, and it mostly came from being bullied for 2 straight years, was I never felt like I was a part of anything. I was seeking to be a part of something, and that's really what led me to fall into the wrong crowd. The people that were drinking and smoking in high school, which led me to ditch school, which led me to being expelled from high school. So I think that we all want to feel like we're a part of something because it's a sense of community. And I don't know if you guys heard about, the experiment that they did, but supposedly, I believe it had to do with rats and leaving some isolated and some, with other rats, or maybe it was mice, whatever. And the ones that were in a sense of community refused the drugs that they were given, while the ones that were isolated continuously went to the drugs. So obviously, what I'm trying to say is community is important, especially for those in recovery. Once you start to isolate and you spend time with yourself, and if you don't know this, yourself, that's your own worst enemy. I mean, our best thinking got us to where we are today. So we want to make sure that we have people around us that we can count on, that we're interdependent with, that we can go to when we're having a bad day or something comes up in our lives. So the more that we can grow this channel, the larger the community that we can get, the better, so that we have more perspective, we have more solution, and we just have more love in general. That being said, I want to talk about one of the most important things in recovery, and it's going to allow you to stay in recovery for a longer amount of time. And that is, corny as it sounds, as cheesy as it sounds, it's having an attitude of gratitude. It's really what it comes down to. Looking for the positives in everything. And I mean everything, in every situation. And I've heard people argue with me or debate me on certain topics, like, there's certain things that happen to where there is no positive outlook. Like, what if you lose a close family member? Or you go through a really bad breakup or a divorce? Where's the positives in that? And it's tough to come up with an answer for that, but my answer to that is this. If you're able to survive that, if you're able to get through it and work through it and get to the other side of the tunnel, per se, right? And find some closure, then you have gone through something that many other people are going to go through in the future. The difference is that you've gone through it and survived it. You've lived it. And now what you can do is share that experience with other people and share how you got through it, share how you were able to find the strength to persevere and get through the difficult situation you're in, so that you can help the next person who goes through something similar. Now, that is definitely taking a positive out of a negative and looking at it from a point of view where it's not self-centered. We're actually looking outside of ourselves to see where the solution may lie. And sometimes you might run into problems in your life where the solution isn't internal, it's external. It's by humbling yourself. It's being, acting with humility. It's being of service. It's being there for other people. And that could get you through a lot of negativity in your life. Case in point, I dealt with a patient recently who was struggling, and they were having a really hard time finding any confidence, any self-worth, any self-value, self-esteem, and they refused to ask for help or even talk about it. And I asked them why. Why won't you ask for help? Why won't you seek guidance for what you're going through? The answer to what is, it's a typical answer. Well, I don't want to be a burden on anyone. I don't want to bother someone else with my problems. I don't want to waste their time. That's not what happens. We manipulate ourselves into believing that, but that's not what actually happens. And I'll prove it to you right now. Let me ask you a question. So, if someone comes up to you and asks you for help, and let's say it's a legitimate ask, okay? It's not a BS, it's not a BS ask where they're, trying to get one over on you and everything. They legitimately need your help. And they came to you for that help. And you're able to help them out. Let me ask you a question. After you help them out, how does it make you feel? How do you feel after you're able to contribute to someone's life in a positive way and help them out? You feel good, right? You feel good about yourself. You feel, this sense of positivity. It's almost like a spiritual high because you were able to help someone out that needed help. And they actually chose you to ask for help. And if you're like me in my early recovery, and especially my addiction, ain't nobody asking me for help for nothing, all right? Because I got nothing to give. I got nothing to offer. And more than likely during that time, I'm looking to get over on you as opposed to help you. But it feels really good when you get to the point to where people are willing to come to you for help, for suggestion, for direction. And when that happens, and like I said, and you're able to help someone, you feel really good afterwards because you did a good deed. You did what you're here on earth to do. And you're here on earth to cause a positive impact on other people's lives. People ask, the question all the time, what's my purpose? Why are we here? Well, I truly believe that our purpose and the reason why we're here is to love one another, to help one another, to have a positive impact on others' lives so that they can continue to grow, they can continue to thrive, they can continue to move closer to their goals and their aspirations so that we can help them get through difficult times. And if we all just work together to help one another, what a beautiful place the world would become. But we get so caught up in such petty bullshit that we forget that fact. And we're so good at manipulating ourselves because we've learned how to manipulate others, and in doing so, we learned how to manipulate ourselves. That we manipulate ourselves into believing that asking for help is a weakness. That if we ask for help, we're in turn showing weakness, which couldn't be further from the truth. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to ask for help. Trust me, it takes a lot to be able to do so. Realistically speaking, if you find the courage to ask for help, if you find the fortitude to do so, then it's going to help you out long term. There's a reason why I continue to preach on getting a sponsor or getting a mentor, so that you can have someone that you trust to consistently go to for help, right? That's why I continuously preach on having the right set of people in your life, people that have your best interests at heart, so you can trust them. You can go to them when you need help. But if you don't have anyone and you're stuck in a difficult situation, you're going to be forced to ask a stranger for help, and that's okay too. Go to a meeting, listen to people share. You can easily, we got really good bullshit detectors. If you're an addict or an alcoholic, you got an amazing bullshit detector. We all do. And we know who's real and who's fake. And you know when someone shares if they're real and they're about it, or if they're not. And if you hear someone share and you know that they're about it, they're about real recovery, they're about getting their shit together, and they're about practicing what they preach, that is someone that absolutely 100 times out of 100 you could go to for help or suggestion or direction. But I want to stress the fact that it's not a weakness, it's a strength. In fact, the spiritual principle for the fourth step is courage. And I believe that courage is actually the most important spiritual principle of the 12 spiritual principles of the 12 steps. And if you didn't know that, you just learned something new. Every single step of the 12 steps has its own spiritual principle. And for the longest time, I used to think it was honesty was the most important principle. But then I came to the realization that everything, including honesty, requires some form of courage. So in my opinion, my very humble opinion, courage is the most important spiritual principle. And you have to find that courage to be able to ask for help from others, to be able to look for suggestion, guidance, and direction. And if you're able to do that, fantastic. And to circle all the way back full circle, if you're able to do that and also focus on the positive while also focusing on what you're grateful for and acknowledging the things, especially the things we take for granted, like having hot water, a bed to sleep in, a roof over our head, food in our bellies. You know, you look at the things that we really truly should be grateful for, but we just take for granted. If you live with that attitude of gratitude, trust me, you're going to be in a much better mind space than you would be if you're just focusing on the negative and you're trying to seek out anything and everything that you can pick apart to try to justify your current emotional state, which is probably a negative one. So have an attitude of gratitude. I encourage you every single night, take out a pen, take out a piece of paper, and write down 10 things that you're grateful and thankful for. You know what? While you're doing that, write five positive things that happened to you over the last 24 hours. And while you're doing that, let's add on to it. Why don't you write 10 positive attributes about yourself as well? Do that every single night for the next 30 days. If you're suffering from depression, I guarantee you that if you do that every single day for the next 30 days, your depression will get better. And that's without the use of medication. If you do that exercise alone, the one I just listed, if you stick to it and you do it every day for the next 30 days, your depression will get better. I guarantee it. Okay? That's all I got for you guys today. I don't want to make this video too long. Just know this. No one's told you they love you today. I love you. Got nothing but love for each and every one of you. God bless each and every one of you. And until the next video, peace out.